He's ready. Don, are you ready?
Ready. Ready. Ready.
Salute.
老师好。
同学们好. Very nice. All right, come back in, have a seat for a moment here. Let me see, I might just adjust this camera a bit. There we go. Okie dokie. Very nice. Well, welcome to a Monday. I cleaned over the weekend. Everything is so nice and clean and spread out now. I got lots of room here, so I hardly know what to do with myself.
And lost? Did you lose it?
Can't find anything.
Now I can't find. Oh, I think I couldn't find anything before because I had too much stuff there, but now it's nice and cleaned out. So we might actually talk about cleaning stuff out today, in terms of cleaning out some of the things that you think about that you're supposed to do in Tai Chi. So we'll talk about that. But I'm going to have Rick, if you won't mind, get up and lead us through a brief flow. And Rick, you can do any darn thing you want to.
Anything I want. Well, you know it won't be bamboo.
Okay, we're gonna do seated Tai Chi without moving, right? Without moving.
Well, well, we could do 15 minutes of the dead man's pose.
Good idea, I like it.
I'm good.
Shavasana, although we translate that as the corpse pose, is not mean the dead man's pose. Not supposed to be that. No, and well, go ahead, surprise me.
Okay.
I'll just be over here. Now, do you want some music, or are you okay? You got some music?
Yeah, I can put some on. Now that
Oh God, please don't sing. You did that this morning and I about threw up.
I thought it was sweet. I heard every one of your angelic voices, and I thought you sounded lovely, including Rick, including this.
Tone deaf leader here.
no, you're just hard.
That's
of
as
hearing.
may be. That's as may be. However, I still thought it sounded sweet, everybody.
You're just hard of hearing. Okay, here we go. I'm like you. I have about 50 playlists. I've got to weed them out.
Let's go. Pick one.
I got it.
Good game's a quick game. No.
Well, if you don't hurry up, Sharon's gonna be moving the furniture around.
Yeah. She's already do.
Once we stand up, we move furniture.
Well, I had it started. Here we go.
We're ready for you, Rick.
Can you hear it?
All right, I'll be watching.
Is not comforting. I'll be watching.
That's
I
kind
mean,
of
he's
scary.
taking his nap. Okay, get up, Claire.
I will. I'm just
One more. Sit back. Let it drift across. Back over to this side. Scoop in. Toss it away. More back. Big sigh. Ah. One more time. Sit back. Let it drag across. Toss it away. One more time. Beautiful. Half a step forward. Bring it all the way across. Let this hand rise. Spread your wings. Crane spreads wings. Scoop under. Beautiful. Stay with me. Take it down. Breathe in as it rises. Sweet spot. Scoop under. Spread your wings. Dive down into the sea. Breathe in. Circle it around. Step in. Let it melt. This hand pushes down. Beautiful. One more. This one weighs in. Both together. Take it out to the side. Drop it, roll it back. Sit back one more time, or roll it back one more time. Sit back. Wipe the slate clean. Up and over. Let it melt. This hand pushes. Other one weighs in. Both together. Right out to the side. Roll it. One more time. Sit back, drag it across. Up and over the top. Let it melt all together. Stay with me now. This knee rises up. Weightless. One more. Turn it, step out to the side and push. Roll it back. Deep breath in. Push it out. Sit back. Clean the slate up and over the top. Melt it down. The side becomes weightless. One more. Turn it out to the side. Step up. Little rush knee with a twisted step. One more. Sit back, drag it right to the center. Step in. Let it drip down. Sink the chi. Let it rise. Rub the big Buddha belly. Deep breath in. Over the top. Let it rise to your heart. Share it, share it. Let it go. One more time. Deep breath in. Let it out. Over the top. Use your ET heart light to shine right between your hands. Push, 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 push. Little more, let it go. And this foot returns. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Thank you, Rick.
Oh, I enjoy it. You know that.
And I thank you anyway. That's good.
Well, you're welcome.
So now that we're kind of warmed up, let's talk a little bit about, and I want to elicit some conversation here, some ideas about what is Tai Chi, or how do you do Tai Chi, or what makes Tai Chi different than ballroom dancing? I mean, whatever it is, what distinguishes Tai Chi in your mind that then guides how you do it, how you do your Tai Chi? And I just want to, I'm going to turn the microphones on so we can just start throwing out some ideas about
Attitude.
attitude. All right, let's talk about that. What is that? Tell me more.
I think that when I go into Tai Chi to do it, I have a change in attitude from what's without to something within. And that it's calming. It takes me away from all the garbage outside.
And how do you do that? Is there something special that you do to make that shift?
Have a stiff drink beforehand.
Often works for me, I'll tell you, yes.
You know what it is.
What I do is, it's like you were talking, I guess yesterday. When you step into that box, into that arena, into that whatever, then I try very hard to get the stuff away from me. And so it's like, opening a door to a very clean bedroom or to a clean space, and you can feel all that's around it.
That's awesome. That is a really, really good answer. Because I want to try to get to, the purpose of this conversation today is to try to get there, right? With everything that we have at our disposal in terms of the tools of Tai Chi and the concepts of Tai Chi. And so that's why I want to continue this conversation. So that's wonderful. I have some thoughts about that, but I'm going to save them. Like some touch points that we have talked about in the past, and maybe we can remember them, bring them up again. Some things that we have learned from the legacy of Tai Chi to get us to exactly that spot that Judy's talking about. Cool. Thank you. What else? What other things? And this can range all over the place: physical, mental, structural, energetic, wherever you want to go. What are some of the things that you think about in terms of what is it that makes Tai Chi, and that then you use when you do your Tai Chi? Yeah, Rick.
For me, it's like we call it moving meditation. I strictly focus on my breathing. I try to make I watch my hands and try to make it as artistic, I guess would be a way to put it, as possible. And I focus on that, and I forget about everything else in the world for that few minutes.
I love that, the idea of making it artistic. I was thinking about that a little bit just before class started, and I have a little sort of technical thing to share with you guys. Sorry about that. So I'm going to come back to that. So here's the thing about meditation. It's hold on a second.
Gin helps a whole lot.
Water works.
Smooth. So meditation is a challenge because it is because our brain naturally resists it. Right? So I've said this before as a concept. Like most of the things in life that we encounter, that we are likely to encounter, especially if we live in America, most of the things that we are likely to encounter in life are easy. But when we experience them, we often experience them as challenging or difficult or whatever, and we discover that it's not the thing that's difficult, it's our resistance to it that makes it seem difficult, right? And so meditation is easy, but it's a challenge because our brains are wired to resist it. Because especially if you speak English and languages like that, which are very linear, very left brain, very logical, subject, verb, object, cause and effect, time passes this way oriented. Right? It's just the way we operate, and everything that we do in life. This is what's known as linguistic determinism. Linguistic determinism is basically a phrase which means that your language shapes your experience of the world. And so here we are thinking, and we can't stop. Whereas meditation is about discovering what is in the spaces between your thoughts. So I have read many times, and I've had meditation teachers, and I've been in classes where they've talked about, try to slow your thoughts down, or quiet your thoughts, or let your thoughts go. Have you heard this kind of encouragement before? Okay, well, that's impossible. So, like, just let go of that already. Like, that's not going to happen. Your thoughts are, I mean, your brain is just wired to work that way, and it's just going to happen. You don't need to quiet your thoughts or let go of your thoughts or suspend your thoughts, because there is already a gap between your thoughts. It's already there. I don't know that you can make it any bigger, but even if you could make it bigger, there's no need to make it bigger because it's already as big as it needs to be. It's already there. It's just that we're not really very good at experiencing it. Once you're in that gap, all of a sudden time is suspended. I mean, there's, like, that's an illusion. It's timeless. And so in that timelessness, in between your thoughts, all this stuff can take place. And so Tai Chi is a facilitator of getting to that spot. Does that make sense? It's like a, it's the train which takes you to that destination. You jump on board and let it do its thing to take you there, and the doors open, you're in Meditationville. Right. Yeah, Sharon.
I strive for that. I do. But then I find I'm always working on the finesse. For instance, last week you talked about waist-hip coordination. So all week I'm hyper aware of my movements. And at the end it's, oh yeah, this feels better. So in one way it's meditative because nothing else can get in there.
Well, there is that, but that's true. And I don't want to minimize that or discount that, but I want to distinguish that from what we're talking about in terms of being in a meditative state.
No, I understand the difference, yeah.
And so here's the thing, and I'm going to lay this out for you, and then we'll get up and we'll do some movement, some additional movement here. We've talked about this before, but I want to remind you of what we call the 3 modes of Tai Chi rehearsal. Or maybe we could call it, I'm struggling to not take away some of the impact of the 3 different modes. So I'm trying, 3 modes of Tai Chi experience, 3 modes of Tai Chi, whatever, 3 modes of Tai Chi. Okay. There is learning mode. There is practice mode. And then there's what my teacher would always call performance mode, but I don't really like that term because it brings up I'm on stage. It's just like, fuck it mode. Just like, it is the allowing for the Tai Chi to be without trying to work it, without trying to be strict with yourself about any of the performance. This is why I don't like performance. It's like I don't have to make it perfect.
Can we say freedom mode?
That works for me. I'm not quite sure that I'm still working on that. But you got the idea. If you say freedom mode, that you got the idea.
It's flow mode as well.
It is being in the flow, right?
Because I find that the fact that we're in movement and there's music and I just get in the flow, and I don't think that much about the moves really. I think about it when you break them down, and then I try to understand. But then when I do, when I follow someone else, I'm just having fun.
Claire, that is by design. That is precisely why that one of the main factors that went into the development of what we call Tai Chi Fit, Tai Chi Fit Flow, was recognizing exactly what you're saying. It's like, when I'm thinking about it and trying to work on a movement, and I'm like, okay, I got all these corrections and I got all these notes on my movement, then I go to practice, it's like, this isn't really very meditating. I'm thinking about it. And so, so the question becomes, so when you set aside time for Tai Chi something, Tai Chi practice, Tai Chi experience, how many minutes of that time are you spending in just like being in that meditative state versus how many minutes of that time are you spending thinking about the corrections and the perfection and the nuances and the, all that kind of stuff, right? Because there is an effective and what I might call an appropriate breakdown between these three modes, right? That about 10% of the time that you're doing Tai Chi would be spent in learning mode. That 20, maybe 30, 25%, like not a lot, is spent on practice mode. That's working it. Working on whatever it is you're working on, sinking down, or one of the jins, Peng Jin, or something like, or remembering your choreography, something like that. And then 65, 70% of your time should be spent in let it flow mode, freedom mode, and just what the heck mode. And I will bet you money out of my pocket right now that you've got those reversed. Yeah, Judy.
Well, I kind of wanted to piggyback on something that Poe said and that you said, is that when we were working on the Tai Chi Fit Free, that was probably one of the most illuminating times because, and I think it would even be better now because we've got the muscle memory for these moves. And there's a lot of times I don't think of the moves. I'm just trying to fit from one place to another, trying to, like you say, work it, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the freedom of it, and then the visualization along with that was really effective when we did that.
We plan on doing more. Many of the things that I wanted, and thank you for that, by the way, many of the things that I want to do with, CJ's here. Many things I want to do with some, like for example, some of the stuff that we're going to do at the immersion, or more stuff with Tai Chi Fit Connect. Really, I think will benefit from a stronger bridge of Tai Chi Fit Free. Like we spend more time with Tai Chi Fit Free, it'll be a better bridge to some of these other expressions. Excuse me, still choked up.
Oh, will you get that thing out of there?
Hairball. So anyway, let's get up and play a little bit here, and do some moving around. All right. So I've got the microphones mostly off, and when I'm standing up there, if you don't mind, just jump up and turn your mic back on whenever you want to. Hold on one second. Okay. So you could even do this in your next, Tai Chi practice time. If let's say you've got 30 minutes, right? You've got 30 minutes and you've already spent the time doing learning mode. So learning mode, or maybe you're taking a look at your notes and you go, I'm not quite sure I've got this down, so I'm going to spend 10% of my 30 minutes, which is how much? 3 minutes. Right? That's it. 3 minutes. Let's say I'll be generous. Let's say 5 minutes. 5 minutes just kind of walking through the movements. Right? Just kind of basically getting the pattern down. So let's say that we're working on well, I'll throw in something challenging. A movement that we're working on in the sword class called pushing the boat down the river. Right? So pushing the boat down the river, and it's a nice challenge. I'm going to turn around because this is the direction we've been working on here. And we're starting here from the sword in this direction, and we're stepping across and pushing and stepping again and thrusting. You got all this stuff. It's like, oh, wow, do I have all that? 5 minutes is what you get to just kind of walk through that, right? So let's just walk through that. I'm starting here, and I've got, and by the way, don't worry about big stances or correct positions or anything else like that. This is not about that. This is just walking through it, just learning the basic pattern. Step, pivot, lean, step. Okay, got it. One more time. Let me try that again. Right. I got a step, pivot, lean, take another step. Groovy, groovy. One more time just for good luck. All right. I'm not even doing good posture because I'm going to watch my feet just so I can see where I'm already at. Okay, that's good. All right, cool. Let me add some hands in there. So I got my sword fingers out here. I got my sword simulation here. And I'm going to step, push. Okay, I'm going to push that out there. Oh, that was a little bit low. Let me just kind of, good. Then take actually, I'm going to go back because I want to do that again. All right, so it's step, push, and then step, lead into it. Good. David Dorian was saying something the other day about don't do it with the arm. How do I do that with my shoulder? Try it one more time. All right. And I've got step, push, step, body thrust. Okay, good, good, good. One more time, just walking through it. Right. And it is a step and thrust and step and push. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, that's all you get. That's it. 5 minutes, 3 minutes to 5 minutes tops. 10% of your time is spent in learning mode, and that's it. Right? So you got what you got. Now, let's say 25% is spent on working mode. And so 25% is on working mode. Let's pick another movement. Let's pick repulse monkey, because this is one we worked on last week with using the waist turn. Right? So it's a concept, it's a principle that now I want to sort of spend some time working a little bit deeper on. But what's 25% of 30 minutes? Somebody help me out because I can't do math in my head. 8 minutes? All right, so we got 8 minutes. I'm looking at the clock right there. All right, so let's start with the weight on this foot. This foot's out there in front. I have this hand out in front in my push, and this hand is here at the rib cage. Okay, now I'm going to work it. So I'm going to get all the pieces really worked. I'm going to sit down a little bit here, right? Really feeling the weight on there. Before I do anything else, I'm going to check all these points. So number one, weight is in the heel, but the toes are still gripping the ground. So I'm really feeling all the weight centered in the heel of my supporting leg, right? Got my butt sticking out behind here because I want to fold in over the quad. Okay, good. What else here? Oh, my tailbone drops. So that whole low yow just drops there and back. And then I go, as soon as I did that, I lost some of my quad. So I'm going to push my butt out some more and then drop that tailbone. Okay, so now I've still got a good quad right there. Very nice. Notice that my whole waist and torso area is at a 45-degree angle relative to where my toe is pointing there. So that's set up like this, but my head cranked all the way around. My leg is starting to get tired. You feel that yet? Starting to get tired. Even my shoulder is like starting to complain and whine a little bit, like, when are you going to move me? It's like, right? This is why it's called working. This is the working part. This is the part where you pour all this in there. I'm going to sink down a little bit more. Get into it, right? All right, so now let me go ahead and start putting this into motion. Now here is the other concept that we were talking about last week, that this circle that this hand comes out for Repulse Monkey is a very small arc. By the time it gets down here, it's going to go right back up again, like a very shallow V. Very shallow, right here. Right? It's going to come down very shallow, but my waist is going to turn, and that's what opens it out the rest of the way. Okay, so let me just work that part here. Okay, now pause. Now here's a very important concept. This is you could just focus on this one little sliver of thing to work this particular concept. So I have a 45-degree arc that I can go through. My torso will come from straight ahead, 12 o'clock, to 45 degrees, 2 o'clock, right? Straight ahead to 45. How long does it take me to get there? Right? How long is it going to take me to get there? From here to here. Right? How long does it take me to get right? So this is something I haven't really talked about for a long time, but without really talking about it, without labeling it or making a big thing about it, every time that you do your form with me, every time that you follow me in the 24 form especially, I am leading you in a particular tempo that is appropriate to that style and that routine. And it's really like, it's impossible that, because it's sort of a range, like the 24 movement form should take between 3 and 7 minutes to perform. And so somewhere in there, and there's really no way of like explaining that or being precise about that. So the only way that you can learn it is to follow in somebody who's leading you in that tempo until you sort of just get used to it, right? So now you're starting to embody the rhythm and the timing of Yang style Tai Chi, and you know that this 45-degree arc isn't, it's not that fast. It could be that slow, but maybe that's a little too slow. It's more like, I've got that much time to make a 45-degree turn, right? And I've got exactly that much time for this hand to go down and up. That's all the time I have. I don't have, there's my body at 45 already and my arm's still going. Like it's got a mind, right? So it's got to head on out there in the same time as that turn. And if they're not matching, it means either my torso is too slow or too fast, or my hand is too slow or too fast. So I've got to now, that's my work. I've got another 2 minutes. Sink down. Right? Hand begins to float down and up. Down and up. And I just go back and forth. Down and up. 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 There we go, down and up. Nice. All right, now you get to change legs. I got 1 more minute. Squaring off my body, I'm going to go down and up. And crap, it's not quite the same as it was on the other side, is it? Right? Because I've got a new side. Sometimes it's better. Down and up. Down and up. Down and up. Down and up. And rest. I'm looking at my clock. My clock says I'm out of time. That's all the time you get. If you've got 30 minutes to practice, that's all the time you get to do the working part of it. So the next 15 minutes is let it flow, let it go. Right? I don't care if it's right. I don't care if it's perfect timing, all the things I was working on. This is like your final exam in chemistry, right? The day of that final exam, you can't cram anymore and learn anymore. You got what you got. You just have to go and do it. That's all there is. So, stay right there.
Fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful daydream.
Breathe in.
I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple
Big
of
sigh.
hours. Such a beautiful day.
Sink the chi. Breathe in. Breathe out. And step it on out. Open the door.
Daydream. I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful day.
Nice. Float up. Round out the arm. Flip them over and drop. Stay right there. I'm going to bring a foot out.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day. Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day.
Last one.
I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a
Stay with me. Everything floats over to the side. One time down. Take a step into the corner. Brush knee. Roll it back. Stay with me. Step up. One time down. Step into your corner.
Well, I wish I could think of some cliche to mouth.
Stay with me. It's a half a step. Right.
But if I told
And
you
float up and circle
lies, I
back.
promised you the moon.
Step.
The truth would come trickling from my eyes. So run, honey, run. Night in the wind. And
Step to the center.
to look inside your
And inhale. Sink the chi one more time.
And I wish I could wash all my weeping blues away and watch them disappear on morning
Nice.
tide.
All right, bring it back on in.
But I seek after sword, after sounds of the sea. The
Okay.
I get listening to that good music and forget to watch you.
Good. Good. And that's also, you know, again, by design. Like, why do we add that kind of music in? Because it takes you away. It's like you forget that you
Oh,
were
come
doing
on. You're
something.
just lucky.
I'm just lucky. I'm lucky to have you guys. That's what I'm lucky about. So, do you see the difference there? Like how much time? So the beginning of this conversation was, you know, spending some time today, and I think we've got a lot more to go with. A lot more classes that we could talk about the same subject with. Is what could you let go of? What could you clean up in the mess of what you think your Tai Chi is all about? So CJ, I was saying that I got in here this weekend and cleaned. I took old desks out, put a new table in, cleaned up all the shelves over there, swept and vacuumed the floor. I mean, it's just lovely in here now, and it feels so much more zen, so much more open. And you know, from time to time, we want to do that with our Tai Chi. We want to like sweep it out and empty out some of the stacks of stuff we've got. In the Tao Te Ching, it says very clearly, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. And so there's a time for accumulating knowledge about Tai Chi, but in the pursuit of wisdom, every day something is taken away or let go of or swept out, right? And it's that wisdom that leads us to this place that Judy was talking about, that moment of just sort of really being calm and feeling like you're in the garden of meditation. Right? Does that make sense? So one of those things to let go of, hold on Rick, just 1 second. One of those things to let go of, where we can start, is this concept of my Tai Chi always has to be about working it and getting it better and perfecting it and making it more correct, right? Not that you throw out, like you just like, loosey-goosey, I don't care, and it's never any important. But when you start to look at what is the appropriate breakdown of those three modes, right? Learning mode, practice mode, freedom mode, whatever we want to call it, right? We find that we probably got it backwards. That's a good place to start. Yeah, Rick.
I was going to say, one of the things we need to let go of is judgment and comparing ourselves to everybody else.
Right? So here's the thing, and yes, you got that right, right? when we're in practice mode or working mode or whatever, that's inherent in that mode. That goes along with it, because there is a comparison that you are working with. Here is the model that my teacher gave me. Here is the the video of Yang Jun, or whoever you're looking at. Like there's my my standard, my idol, my ideal that I am trying to, and I am always comparing myself to that. Like it's inherent in that, and that gives us a benchmark for whether we're successful in the work that we're doing. That's okay. But here's the thing: we get best at what we practice most, or we get most habituated to what we rehearse the most. And so if we're rehearsing, comparing, because that's we're spending most of our time there, then it's like, I can't tear myself away from judgment and judgmentalism and dualism, because that's all I've been practicing in my Tai Chi class for days. And you get that? Right? So what we have to do is and like, I can't shake my finger at you and say, stop being judgmental about yourself. Be nicer to yourself. Like, if that worked, it'd have been over a long time ago. What we have to do is create a different situation that we spend more time in. So this is what Judy was, I think, really referencing when we practice Tai Chi Fit Free. There is no judgment, because there's no comparison to anything. There's nothing to compare to. Now there's a challenge in that, because if your mind, like most people in the world, is used to comparison and judgment, then a moment of being like no judgment, no comparison, it just like freaks you out. Like, I'm not comfortable in that space. People don't always like me. I know this is really hard to believe. People don't always like me. People don't always like being in my class, or they come into Tai Chi Fit and they leave, because I'm committed to zero judgment. This is a judgment-free zone when you walk into one of my classes, and people are like, oh, he's not even real. Right? Because they're not used to that. And so when you first start out that, it's weird sometimes.
No, what they always know, like we know, is that afterwards you sit down and take notes and catalog us.
Whenever I do that, I always let you know. I say,
That's
Claire,
what
I
I'm
was talking
afraid
about
of.
you behind your back the other day, but I just thought I should let you know that I was doing it. Yeah, no, I don't catalog or judge people because I don't care. Right? I don't care. I don't care what your shit is. I got shit of my own.
I hate that.
I know, but I want you to, like, again, we have this conversation in this kind of environment. I don't have this kind of conversation to people who don't know me very well, or that I can't get a little bit deeper with. But it's like all the stuff that comes up for human beings doesn't matter to me, because I see something more beautiful and deeper. I don't care that you might be an angry person. I don't care that you might be a frustrated person, or a sad person, or a sneaky person. Like, I don't care. I don't care, because that's just surface stuff that is layering over the top of the beautiful, amazing, magical, wonderful, angelic person that you really are on the inside. I just know that about you. Right? So I don't care about that other stuff, and that's why, like, after class, I'm like, I'm just moving on to the next thing, because I just know you'll be back again in same beautiful shape. So I'm not all that special. By the way, I don't want to make, this isn't about me. This is about David Dorian. So how do I get to this place? Like, CJ can tell you how many decades it's been a struggle for me to get to this attitude, because I'm a human being. I practice this. I spend my time, I devoted my life to rehearsing this, to getting better at this. to get best at what we practice most. Spend as much time as possible in a space of, I only see people through their personas into their deep, authentic chi. Catch me when I was 35. Oh no. And so this is available to anybody. Anybody. Everybody. This is what the Dalai Lama talks about. That's why I love him and admire him so much, because he just holds this light up. He says, like, think the Dalai Lama doesn't get pissy? He just practices getting over it faster. That's all. And a vehicle, my favorite vehicle, for getting to that space is Tai Chi. Like, that's why we do it. I want to make this relevant to our topic. Like, why do we do Tai Chi? That it's not just like an ego trip. Ooh, my fingers are better than your fingers, right? So it's because it can get you there. All right, I better
Shut her
stop
down before she started.
I better stop before they take off at that. Any questions or thoughts or requests for where we want to take this in the next class next week? Okay. Well, Rick, would you do me a favor and salute us out, sir?
That hour went really fast today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this. Like crazy. Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
Relevant to something else. Somebody in class told me that the deer sign was the devil.
Well,
It is.
it's
It is.
index finger, little finger, and thumb. So the thumb's got to stick out there like that.
Yeah.
Started this.
So
Devil's
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I do it. What's the devil? Well, just this. Yeah. Oh, so that's why they mistake the.
This is just Ozzy Osbourne Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Why am I doing the devil? Okay. Thank you.
That's very much.
Okay. Devil's ready.
Devil's ready.
Salute. Lao Shur Tai Tien.
Yeah.
Dongsemen Zaitian. Thank you, guys. I love you so much. I'll see you in the morning.
Thank you. You care a little bit about my shit, don't you? Just a little.
No.
No, he doesn't. Oh, okay.